So the first episode of the Falcon and Winter Soldier just dropped yesterday. I have watched it, so today I'm going to be doing a video on it. This one will be similar to like the last two movie slash TV show videos I've done on Zack Snyder's Justice League and WandaVision. So it's going to be a lot more casual, a lot less scripted, and more of like a podcast style video. I'm really enjoying doing these type of videos. They're a lot easier to make, and I just enjoy them a lot more. So I think I'm going to stick to that with these movies and TV series. Anyways, regarding the Falcon and Winter Soldier specifically, I'm going to try and cover this on a weekly basis. So every week I'll be doing like a My Thoughts video, which is most likely going to contain spoilers just because if I'm doing this on a week to week basis, there's probably not that much I can say in a video without spoiling the entire episode. So that's kind of like your warning. If you haven't seen the first episode of the Falcon and Winter Soldier, make sure to watch that first, then come back to this video. I'm not going to be going into too much detail or anything like that, but in general, this will spoil the episode, so just thought that I'd warn you guys. Okay, so with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and discuss this first pilot episode. Overall, I thought it was a very good start to this show. I actually liked it a little bit better than WandaVision. The pacing of this one is a lot faster than WandaVision's, and this one actually feels more cinematic and more like a movie, whereas WandaVision felt more like a TV series. Like, this movie really just feels like the first act of a film, like a blockbuster Marvel film that we'd see in theaters, and it just kind of stops at like the 30-minute mark or something like that. To be honest, it reminded me a lot of Captain America Winter Soldier. So that movie obviously starts with like a 10 to 15 minute action sequence of Captain America going through a ship and fighting a villain, which is Batroc, who's holding a government official captive. And this episode starts in the exact same way. So instead, you have Falcon trying to save a government official from the exact same villain, Batroc, except this time now he's on a plane instead of a boat, which was really cool to see. I'm glad they got to reuse that same villain, even though he is really minor. I'm not sure if all of you guys know this, but that's actually George St Pierre. He's a really great UFC fighter, one of the best fighters to ever step into the octagon, and he actually happens to be Canadian like myself, so that was pretty cool to see. But I'm glad he got to reprise his role in the MCU here, and he actually didn't end up dying, so hopefully he shows up again at some point as well. That action scene in the beginning was really well done. I thought the visual effects were on par with what we see in the actual movies, so that was really good. It helps this entire MCU TV series thing and movies feel a lot more immersive when the visual effects are at the same level of quality. As cool as that action sequence was, it did feel a little bit long in my opinion. Like, about halfway through, I was starting to be like, okay, I get it. This is the explosions, Falcon's dodging these missiles, all this stuff. We know he's going to beat the bad guy at the end of the day. I just kind of wanted him to get through it a little bit. But honestly, with the amount of action that was in this first episode, it was starting to seem a little bit okay, considering there just isn't that much action to begin with. So they just packed it all up into the beginning of the episode. I do like the fact that the rest of the episode is really slow and it just kind of spends time with our two main heroes, Bucky and Sam. Both these characters have really interesting arcs, and I'm really excited to see where they go with both these characters. It seems like Sam's story arc is going to be built around making up for all the lost time from being blipped out of existence for 5 years. And I'm glad they're starting to explore that a lot more because we don't get to see too much of what that 5 year span was like or the effects of it and how it actually affected the entire Earth. So I think this will give some nice perspective to the MCU that we haven't seen too much of before. Bucky, on the other hand, is trying to make amends for all the damage he did as Winter Soldier. I really did enjoy that flashback scene with Bucky as the Winter Soldier again. Captain America Winter Soldier is probably like my favorite MCU film, or it's not my favorite, but I do think it's like the best film. So because of that, seeing the Winter Soldier again is really nostalgic for me, and I'm glad they did it pretty well. It did get a little bit dark with him pulling the trigger on an innocent dude, but it was nice to see that they're keeping some consistency with how violent he was in the other movies. His arc just does look really interesting though, with how he's trying to remake up for that with that old Asian man and trying to apologize for killing his son. That just looks very interesting, and I'm really excited to see how that's going to go down. I think one of the coolest parts about this episode is that it really shows what it would be like to be a superhero in real life. There are all these small little problems that you just don't think of when you're watching these movies, like bank loans and dating and stuff like that. So I'm glad this show is trying to show a more realistic version of the superhero life that we just don't see too much on the big screen. I think that scene of Sam trying to get a loan from the bank was really well done. I mean, like, he's famous pretty much, so everybody knows him and everyone's grateful that he helped save the world. But at the end of the day, it doesn't pay the bills, so he's still in the same financial situation that he was in before. And that seems about right, because I think about the real world. If there were superheroes, who would be paying these guys, right? I mean, Tony Stark is gone, so they just have to do regular things and try and find normal ways to make money like the rest of us. and showing the softer side to Bucky with him going on that date with that girl and not being able to relate at all, considering everybody he knows is dead. And also that whole interaction he had with the therapist, I thought that was really well done. I really liked Bucky in this episode. So yeah, both main characters have some really interesting looking arcs here, and I can't wait to see how they pan out. I was actually really surprised to see that Roadie was in this too. I wasn't expecting that at all, but I am glad that he did show up because it helps connect this show to the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Also, I'm not sure if they're going to do this, but maybe they might tease Armor Wars with this because Roadie will be getting his own TV series as well later on. And that one's going to be based on what would happen if like a bunch of bad guys got a hold of Iron Man's suits. So I'm not sure if they're going to end up teasing that, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do. The ending did end on a cliffhanger with us getting a first look at the US agent. I'm not sure if anybody was actually too shocked by that. I think all of us know that he's going to be a bad guy, but it was still nice to see, especially with his costume looking super weird and just not fitting well. I know it was all done intentionally to show the fact that that shield does not belong to him and the mantle of Captain America doesn't belong to him either, but for some reason the internet has just started completely roasting this guy. Like, I know he looked really weird, especially with that helmet on. His face, for some reason, just does not fit in that thing nicely at all. But the internet is just eating up this actor alive, and I feel really bad for him right now. I'm glad they still teased him, though, at the end of this episode, but this first episode, I guess, is more about Bucky and Sam and what's going on in their individual lives. I was a little bummed we didn't get to see Sam and Bucky interact at all in this episode. Like, I really thought at some point they were going to get together and meet up. Just because there's only 6 episodes, I believe, in this series. I could be wrong on that, so if I am, let me know down in the comments. But if there's only 6 episodes, spending that first episode without having your 2 main characters interact at all, it seems like a bit of a waste, but I'm sure they're going to make up for it, and everything will probably work out in the end anyways. But yeah, this entire episode felt really nice. It felt more like a movie than it did a TV show, which is good, but also bad in a way because when the credits show up, it feels really jarring because you just expect it to keep going since it feels like the first act of the movie and you just want to see the second and the third. But that's just what it is because it is a TV series. It's not as bad as it was with WandaVision since the episodes here are a little bit longer. Like this one, I believe, was like 41 minutes or something like that. Whereas the WandaVision episodes felt like they were like 20 minutes at times. So yeah, I guess I'm just glad that the episodes are longer and there's just less episodes in total in the series. But I think that pretty much does it. I know I didn't cover every single aspect of the episode, but I just kind of went over the things that I thought were pretty neat. So make sure to let me know what you guys thought about that first episode. Did you guys enjoy it at all? And are you guys excited for this series? Whatever you're thinking, anything and everything, leave it all down in the comments below. But yeah, I think that's going to pretty much do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.